All right, folks. Good morning. How we all doing? Welcome to Coffee Run with John from ProCraps on Casino Gaming TV. We got maybe a shortened little show today. I mean, we'll probably go 45 minutes, but I got a vet appointment for the dogs today, so it's flea and tick season out here. So it's time to get them out there and get their shots and all that stuff. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get our Yolo in. Where are we at in the Yolo, by the way? We have actually, before we start the Yolo, we're gonna go Yolo, which is Crazy Town, which is dumping the whole rail. We should probably talk about some important things like having a goal, having a bankroll, having a strategy, understanding your risk appetite. You know, I watched Ed Robinson's show last night with Tony Leo, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. And I think a lot of these concepts here are going to come to fore. If you haven't watched that show yet, or when you hear me talk about it, having a goal and a bankroll to support it is so important, and having a strategy that supports all that even more important, right? And Tony has a really interesting way of approaching those four things, along with discipline, that makes him, in his words, a consistent winner. So anyway, let's jump into the show here. And the quote of the week, by the way, is going to be this. I'm only going to be here for a couple of days this week, but here's my quote of the week. I'd rather walk with Jesus with all of my questions than walk by myself with all the answers. Now, whether you're religious or not, this mindset is really important. I'd rather walk with my questions with other people, you can say if you want to, than by yourself with all the answers, right? That's a really interesting way, I think, of looking at life. Isn't that kind of cool? I've run across these quotes sometimes and I bookmark them and I'm like, man, that's just a great way to kind of process the world that we live in, right? And it's like, walking around thinking you got it all figured out never ends well. It just never ends well. You can be cocky and confident and have success, right? But being I got all the answers, dude, it's never going to work out. Anyway, YOLO time. We are 6-0. Starting a new week. We have, I think, $175 or so in the rack. Let's dump it out here and see what we do. Here we go. I'm going to put the light on. We're going to go ahead and see if we can't make some cash here. There's the money. Let's see. You can see my rail is empty. I rail dumped. That's how the YOLO works, right? I'm not sure what I have over here. Let's see how much money we've got in the rack. I know we can go across, right? We can go 160 across for sure. There's the 160, and I've got $35 left. I'm going to get that quarter in nickels, actually. And let's make some decisions here. We can go to the 5 and 9 for 35 each. Let's do that at a minimum. That'll make those pay 50 for one. They'll pay 50 for one. We can get the 6. I mean, I suppose I can do that. We can get, we can put $15 in the field to grab our horn numbers here and maybe double up on some of the outsides, or bump the 6 and 8. I'm going to put the $15 in the field today. What the hell, right? Here we go. As long as we spend every dime we have, nothing bad can happen to us, right? I guess the worst thing that can happen is we end up cutting out some of our win from up here, but here we go. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And the dice are out. Let's go. I should turn the puck off first. Let's make it. We're gonna work. We don't work the cutout because it's whatever, right? It's every roll. Here we go. Can you see the dice? Can you see them? Oh, where's my stick? Oh, you guys can't see them. I gotta change the view so you can see them. I'll be careful. There's a 5, and here is a 3. That's an 8, which is probably the worst possible case, really. We lose the 15. We win 35, so it's a net $20 on that one. Not the greatest thing. However, we can now get all the numbers here paying $50, right? I can get these two up to $42 each and put the rest on the horn. So we're still okay. Our total out is what? What do we have here? We got 100, 175, $215. We're at $215 in the rack. Cool. All right, so we live to fight another day. We're almost to the point where we're going to be able to move the puck down the other side here. Almost to the point where we can pocket that $64 for safekeeping, right? It's one of our first goals in the YOLO is to get the $64 put aside so we have it for safekeeping for later, right? All right, let's hustle back over here. And congratulations, Johnny. We got the YOLO done, which is pretty cool. But I want to get into like some actual talk here, right? Ed and Tony last night did a great show. And I guess before I jump into that, I'm going to do my own thing first. Then I'm going to backtrack to Ed and Tony because I want to say a lot about that. I filmed all day yesterday. Actually, I filmed the duck and cover. I filmed tier pressure, and I filmed kind of the introduction to this How I Play series. And I'm going to take a page out of the Ken Knows Gambling book. Ken's got 4 ways to play, and he'll tell you that in chat right now. How many ways do you play, Ken? 4 ways. He does a bunch of strategies to show you them, but he really just plays 4 ways. And I really just play a handful of ways too. I've distilled my life down to like all these things that I show you and all these different ways to approach it. I'm a very simple person. I don't do complicated things. I might do things with more money than most people do when I talk about how I play, because I'm in for more short-term bigger win than long-time small wins. Right? I don't want to grind out so much the $10 wins to get the $200. I'd rather just kind of get it. The more I play, and the older I get, the more wisdom I acquire. I want to play that way. I don't want to sit here and just grind. I feel like I would just rather, for my sanity's sake, get it done or not, and kind of, pull the Band-Aid off most days. And that's why I play the way that I do. And that's why I advocate for playing that way, mostly for me, right? Anyway, I'm going to do a series called How I Play. I'm going to show you the 6 or so ways that I actually play. And you know what they are. It's the Horseman, it's tier pressure, it's Philly special, it's duck and cover, it's Dallas drawdown. It's pretty much what I do. I got a couple of don't pass things that I do, and I have a couple of side bets that I like to chase around, my pass line parlays and my hard way parlays and that kind of stuff. But really, I don't vary too much from what I do. I just play with a little more juice at the outset, and I regress down pretty quick and play from there. And that's my way of playing, right? But I'm going to break it down. I'm going to delete all the strategy videos that I've got and just redo the ways that I play, kind of, with just the new setup and that kind of thing. And that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to get into the ways that Johnny plays. Now, let's see. Ed and Tony did a thing last night. Ed's Tales from the Table, which I love that series, by the way. I think it's cool that Ed brings people onto his show that have some history in the game, whether it's they're older players or they were a big part of the old forums, the heavy access forums, that kind of thing. And even some controversial guys, right? Tony Leo's a controversial guy for whatever reason, right? People had this kind of love-hate with Tony. I love Tony. I think Tony's a great guy. I've met Tony a number of times. I'm a wage member. I just think he's a cool dude. When I talk to Tony, I always have a good time. He's a great storyteller. Very matter of fact. He's like my wife. My wife is one of these people. If you've met her, you know her, right? She's got no filter, no censor, no bullshit. Kathy, if you know what Kathy thinks, let's just put it that way. And she doesn't really tread around and walk eggshells. She's just going to be a straight shooter, and that's how Tony is. And some people that rubs them the wrong way. Some people like that, whatever. I like Tony, and I think when I look at like my gambling ways, right, which I got most of it from John Patrick when I was younger, and my dad, of course. I'm very disciplined. I have a goal, strict goal. I have a way that I'm going to play that's going to, I think, get me the goal. The way that I play to get my goal is what I'm confident in, right? Tony's got a way that he gets to his goal confidently, and he plays his way, super disciplined about it, right? He's got his goal. He has the ways he plays, his bankroll. He does a negative progression, which I don't do, but he does. And it supports his goal. He has enough bankroll to get him to his goal or to support his play style. Sometimes he burns it. He said that last night. He in a given month, he might burn his entire buy-in 3 times in a month. But if he makes his goal the other 26, 27 times, he's going to be okay. And that's how I've looked at it too. I've without saying it like that, if you look at my daily paycheck, when I have my 80% win rate, I'm good. If I'm winning 20% most of the time, and a couple times I get whacked, we're going to come out ahead in the end of the month. And that's exactly how I made the paycheck when we did, or that's how I made the 100K in the paycheck series. And that's how I'm doing it every day here. Some days we get it, some days we don't, but we get it way more often than we don't. And I think that's kind of the thing. And Tony preaches that. It was a really good conversation. One thing too about Tony, and like Dice Coach, like Heavy, like I think Ed and the Casino Tears crew, like Bo Parker, he gives lessons, he charges for his time, and a lot of people have a problem with that for whatever reason. No problem with people charging for their time. And frankly, Tony and he said it last night too. Everything he teaches is on his YouTube channel, right? When you go to a lesson with him, you're not getting anything new. Like, you're going to get a deeper dive. He's going to spend hours with you talking through it and the imaginations and that kind of thing. But you're not getting anything he's not giving away for free. He already gives it away for free. You're paying for time and energy and working, right? That's what it's about for me, or for him rather. And I think that's cool. I think it's fine. I don't begrudge him that at all, like some people do. You don't have to. And again, it isn't like he's saying, like some people do, if you pay me, I'll give you the secret sauce. He's not doing that. He's saying, here's the sauce right here. I'm going to show it to you for free on my channel. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, great. Don't care. If you want to come over here and hang out and play, my time is valuable. That's kind of how he looks at it. I think it's honest and open. He's honest and open about that. You might not like what he's selling, but I think it's good for him to sell his time like that. And I think what he teaches, for the most part, is sound. Like, I'm not a negative progression guy. I don't like martingale, right? But the way he talks about, I'm going to bet the 6, 8 in the field, or I'm going to bet the don't pass and the 6 and the 8. And I've said this to you many, many times. If you look at the Iron Cross, for example, people go, the Iron Cross sucks because the field sucks wins off the numbers and it's blah, 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 right? We get that. My Yolo today shows that, right? We win 35, lose 15. But he looks at the field and the numbers as two separate things. Like, he's got two bankrolls going. One bankroll for the field, one bankroll for the numbers. And each of those can independently ladder up and take off. Each of those can independently earn his paycheck, right? Or his goal for the day without knocking each other down. Maybe one day it's all 6s and 8s and the field just gets crushed until the last one. I like the fact that he's looking at the bets separately. When I do my inside plays and the pass line, I'm playing a pass line parlay as a separate game from my box play. And Tony's kind of teaching the same thing, where you take the different bets as a separate entity. I like that. I like that about what he teaches. And again, it's all there on his website. Great interview by Ed again. Ed dives into all the topics, his history and everything else. Ed does a great job. Ed's getting so much better at interviewing through this series. Before he was just kind of I think kind of taking notes. Now it's very natural. You watch him talk to these guys and it's so natural. Getting really good. So I'm really appreciative of the series, Ed. I think keep doing it. Keep bringing these guys on. And as you know, I love casino tiers. So there's that. What is Ken saying? And Ken is all caps, baby. Nothing works. Nothing wrong with getting paid for your time. Plus, nobody has a gun to your head to pay, right? If you perceive value in it, sometimes, you know what I mean. Sometimes it's like a counselor, right? You go to counseling for mental health, right? Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to. Sometimes you got to work through it. Sometimes you got to have somebody to kind of just, right? There's nothing wrong with that. I have zero qualms about that at all, right? Yeah, to each their own. That's how I look at it. Tony's cool, reading between the lines, says James, right? And like I said, there's some things he teaches that I really love. I love the hop system. I really do. I love the hop system. I love how he talks about reading your numbers, right? If you're throwing the dice and you're setting your dice and you believe you can set the dice and get some results, and you're seeing 1s or 6s, it's an indicator. Throwing lots of 1s for some reason, bet the lower numbers. That's a good time to get on the 4, 5, or 6, right? Because there's 1s on. If you're throwing more 1s, bet low. Throwing more 6s, bet on the high side. It makes sense when you go, duh, I should know that already, instead of just blasting everywhere. He's doing a job of reading. And again, that's not for everybody. In his way of thinking, he's broken down his betting system into what he believes will work for him. And that's how he gets through it. So anyway, kudos to Ed for another great job on the interview. I appreciate it. All right, let's get out of here. Let's go and do some play. I'm going to do my paycheck here, and we're going to look at the inside play. I'm going to play. I think some tier pressure today, just because it's on my mind from the weekend. But reminder, quick on the math of how these things work. Right, we're going to play inside only. Okay, and again, I want to remind you of this. Remember how to do the math. Right, the odds that the next roll is going to be good. Okay, if you're playing the inside numbers, you have 18 ways to win, 6 ways to lose. Okay, it's 3 out of 4 of the outcomes on average will win for you at 75%. You have a 75% chance to beat the 7 one time, right? That's how the odds work. okay? The odds that the next 3 rolls are going to be good for you, you multiply it. 75% times 75% times 75%, 42% is the end result there, right? So you have, and again, if you're going to bet ahead of time, and say, look, I'm going to bet you X that you're going to roll 3 inside numbers before the 7, that's your odds. On every subsequent outcome, if you're doing it one at a time, it's 75%. So remember that that's how this thing works. When I do inside plays, I'm not looking at, am I going to get 3? I'm looking at, am I going to get 1? And then will I get the next one? When you look at it outcome by outcome by outcome, 75% odds you're going to get a good number before the bad number. And that's the secret, or that's the thought behind the inside plays. All right, so here we go. Our daily paycheck, we are at, well, we won the 100K, right? Now we're taking from the 100, 5,000 every day, looking to win 500, maybe 1,000. I might increase the win goal to 20%, okay? And again, we're going to split the money between our master bankroll to try and grow it up, put some in our expenses accounts, we can fly around the country and visit people, put some money in our excess accounts, we can have some fun and experiment, okay? Thus far, on the days that I say I'm doing a paycheck, because some days I go out here like Friday Follies, and I'm just going to fart around. We don't count those days, right? But days I'm actually trying, we're 42 and 13, 76%. I want to be at 80, but we're 76%, right? Our profit and loss, we're up 17K. Our average win is about $700. So you look at 42 and 13, what is that? 55 days. That's about 3 months of play. That's about 3 months. Roughly, if you're going Monday through Friday, you're getting on 3 months of play. $17,000 over 3 months, not bad, 5K a month, right? That's a pretty good little average right there. Totally down with that, right? And again, that's the point here. Can I do this on the regular? Can I play in a way that's going to support me on the regular? Today, I'm going to play a way that has no safety net, okay? Today, we're going to do tier pressure. There's no safety net here, okay? If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I potentially will come down and regress into it. We'll see. I'm going to play it straight up first out of the gate. Let's see what happens, but I might do a quick regression, okay? And let's just get after it. And here we go. I'm going to go ahead and change screens. I'll put the betting screen on, and let's see here. Let's go and get Crapsy turned on. So if you want to play along, you are more than welcome to do so. Give me a second to fire up the computer here and get that thing set up, and then we'll start playing together. So let's see, get the Pro Craps Daily Paycheck. All right, table's on and hot. I'm gonna take my my keyboard down and let's get the dice out. Here we go. We got 5K in the rack, right here. We're gonna go get the lammers out of here, and let's go. I'm gonna start out here. I'm gonna start out just plain. All right. I'm going to go 550 inside. Okay. We're going to go 550 inside. I'm going to take 2 purple chips out. All right. And that's going to be 350 and change. And the 550 looks like this. It's going to be basically the big bird game to start. Now it's going to be a little bit of a dealing hassle to do the regression that I'm going to do here. So bear with me as we go, but we're going to go from 550 to 330 on the first hit. Then we're going to play it out. All right, here we go. Let's get the dice out. I'm going to go put the throwing screen on and wish me luck. Where's them dice? There they are. All right, here we go. And again, I haven't thrown a die yet today, so we have no idea what's going to happen. Here we go. Coming out. All right, that's going to be an 8, 6 and a 2. Not a bad looking little throw right there, huh? Little 6, 2, 8 for us. And I may have to refresh the roll tracker to get that thing to work. You know how that thing sometimes is finicky? Let's see, does it work? Oh, look at that, it worked first time. Sweet. All right, we have a point of 8. And here we go. Looking for inside hits in groups of 3. Now the first set is going to be a group of 4. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. But I'm looking at the roll here. Can I get groups of 3 numbers and then sort of reevaluate my life, right? So every 3 numbers, we're going to kind of reset and take a look. Okay, here we go. Looking for 3 inside numbers. That's going to be a hard 4, not an inside number, but it's a good one. And by the way, tier pressure, I play on the inside. You can absolutely play this on the outside if you choose to. You can go 4, 5, 9, 10 instead of 5, 6, 8, 9. Doesn't matter. Just looking at 4 numbers. If you're throwing more outsides in a given day, fine, right? Here we go. That's an 8. There's the point. Hard 8. 4, 4, square pair. All right. Okay, let's go get paid on that one. And the way it's going to get paid is this. We're going to get 175 on the hit. And I'm going to come down to 330 inside. So I'll leave $350 out there on the table. There's my 20 change. So this is coming back to the rack. All right, I'll get the 330 set up here in just a minute. But coming back to the rack, 550 out. There's 2. There's 3. 375. 395 coming back. So out of the 550 I started with, I got back most of it on that first hit. All right, coming back to the rack. Now, sorry for the slow dealing here, but it is what it is. We're going to get set up with 330 in. And what that looks like is 3 units per number. And here's where tier pressure actually starts. Let's get our $15 on the 6th name. Now we're looking for 3 hits. I regress down to give myself a little bit of breathing room. And so right now what I'm looking for is 3 inside hits and then an inside press. All right, let's hope we do it. You ready? Puck is off. Here comes the throw. The reason why I can, by the way, is I don't like to take multiple 7s. Right, that's the reason why. I don't work the come out because if I'm going to keep the bets going, I don't want multiple 7s. If I'm going to get whacked on a come out 7, then I got to decide to go back out again and again and again. I just don't want to get beat consecutively like that. So that's the reason why I work the puck. That's the only reason why. There's that, and here's this. Okay, coming out. That's going to be a 10. Big Ben, 6, 4, 10 on the end. There it is. All right, let's work the inside. Hopefully, right? If we don't get the inside numbers, we're going to be in a little bit of trouble here, right? We have to get a few to make a few. But again, it's groups of 3. It's groups of 3. You'll see the pattern here in a minute. I may even leave the payments out here so you guys can watch it really obviously how I do it. Takes a good shooter though, right? This is one of those things where it takes a good shooter. That's why I regress first. I won't be out of the hand completely, but I'm going to be in good shape. There's a 1, 2, 3. That's an ace deuce. All right. Oh, did I press the button? I guess I didn't press the button. Taking a long time. 2, 1. All right. Ace deuce does nothing. Here we go. Yeah, the dice don't know what to come out, but the rhythm of the game allows for 7, 7, 7, 7. And unless I'm doing a ladder, which I'm not, I can't survive that. I can't keep going out 330 on 5 7s in a row. That's the only reason why. If I was laddering, it wouldn't matter, but I'm not laddering. So I can't with the same bet level survive it. So anyway, that's my way. There's a 6-6-12. Alrighty, there's a midnight. That's a double the field right there, huh? Double the field. Bottom die behaved well. Top die not so much. All right. No, it's not a trend. Unless I'm setting for it, it's not a trend. All right, here we go. We are on a point of 10. On a point of 10. And we got a 7 out. Okay, so we don't get nothing out of that hand at all. I think we basically didn't quite tie, but we got close to tying. So 6-1. I'll see where we are here. 6-1 in, we're done. We'll lose the 330. All right. And we'll do it again. Hope for a better outcome this time. And again, I'm not laddering, right? So let's go back over to the other screen. If I'm laddering, right, instead of 550, I go out there 660 or something like that, right? We may try it at some point with a little ladder, but for right now, I'm not doing that. We're gonna go out 550. There's 3, 4, 500. There's 600 bucks. Okay. And there's my 50 bucks in change. 550. Again, I'll do a one unit regress or one regression down to 330. Play it out. Here we go. Coming on out. Coming on out. Let's get that refreshed. All right. Well, Duracell, I threw that twice last week. I don't know if you were watching last week, but I had a 5 come out 7 sequence and a 4 come out 7 sequence twice last week. So that's I am 100% scared of that. I'm not afraid to admit that I'm scared of it. So yeah, you're right. Fear driven. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Come on out, baby. That's a 6, a 5, and a 1. Let's mark that 6. All righty, there's your, wrong. Roll tracker's wrong. Sorry about that. 5-1, not a 6-1. All right, that should be good. Here we go. All right, 6, 5, 2, 1. Here we go. Oh, let's press that button. Buckshot. It's a bummer. It's okay, but the buckshot makes this thing just go slower, right? 516, 516. All right, let's get paid. Let's do it. And I'll go here. So again, it's 175 on the 6. We're going to come down to 330. 3 units. 3 units. 3 units. Do I have enough in the rack to do it? I do, I think. $10 short. Of course I am, right? Let's take 90 bucks out of that damn thing. That's a bummer. All right, 10 bucks short. All right, now we got 330 in. Pucks off. And again, what I've got here in the rack, there's 500 in blacks, just so you can see where we are. We're light in the bankroll, right? We're light 500, but I've got 330 and 90. So it's 430, 440. So I'm light 60 bucks with everything I've got here. Let's come out. Let's catch a new point. And hopefully we can get a little bit of a run and just call it good, right? 6, 5, and a 2 and a 1. Let's do it. Nice and easy. Nice. Oh, your mom is grumpier than a bear out of hibernation. Uh-oh. We had a situation with my family this week too, which man, sometimes, I mean, I love my parents and my father-in-law, but man, that generation can be stubborn. Whew. Boy, they get stuck in their ways, don't they? Especially when it comes to their health. You know, it's a crazy town. All right, here we go. Let's get us a number. Looking for a point here, right? That looks like a 7 on the come out, 6-1. All right, we're safe on that one. We have a come out craps and a come out 7. How about a come out box number, huh? Let's set a point here, Johnny. But I like seeing the blue die stick, right? When I see a 6 in that blue die, I'm always really happy about that. All right. Here we go. That's a 6. Boy, the 6, 5-1, same one too. 5-1. 5 and a 1 and a 5 and a 1. Okay. Let's move that puck over. And let's do it. Here we go. Here we go. Let's make the hay. Let's make the hay. Where's my dice? Three, 6. It's a 9. All right. So now we're in this. We're finally in the strategy, right? We had our first hit with a little regression, 6, 3, 9, and now. And again, I'll put the bets out or the wins out here in the middle so you can watch the plan. I did this last week, but here's duck and cover as it works, right? That 9 pays $105, right? We're gonna go collect, full press. But I'll put the collects out here in the com just so you can see them. And when we get all done here, you'll see how it all kind of winds through. Is my camera kind of jumpy or is that just me? Is it just me or does it feels like it's a little bit laggy today? I'm not sure if that's just an illusion that I'm seeing here from my screen, but anyway, that was the first one. Let's get a couple more and we can show how this thing works. If I can get 2 more hits, we'll see how the strategy is supposed to work. If not, I've got I got one collect that I can bring to the box, right? Here we go. That's a 7, 5-2. Okay, well, that's a bummer. That's a bummer. We can't seem to get out of our own way here, but we'll be all right. 5, 2, 7. Let's make sure everybody's got their crapsy correct before I do the bets on my side. All right, go ahead and come on out. I'll switch screens. We'll do the needful over here, and I'll take my 105 back to the rack. It would have been nice to have had the numbers hit more than once. I can't seem to get a good rhythm going here, but the 105 helps a little bit, right? We're not quite back to square again, obviously. Let's come out 550 again. There's 550. We'll try it one more time. All right. So what I'll do here is same thing. I'm not laddering up, but I'm going to do it with all greens because the regression's a pain in the ass with the blacks. So I'm going to put 5 greens instead of a black and a green. Okay. I'll put 6 on the 6 and 8. Again, that's 150, 150. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That way, when I do the regression, it'll be a little bit quicker and easier on us. All right. So just know that there's greens out there, but it's really a black underneath. All right. Let's go. Ken's got that right. Do what you do, right? I said this about Tony, right? Tony plays his way. which not everybody has to like, right? But he's confident in his ways of playing, and that's got to be okay, right? I'm confident in the ways that I play, and that's got to be okay. And again, I try and play ways that are generally speaking pretty safe. A lot of money out there for sure, right? But again, with the $5,000 bankroll, it's only 10% of my bankroll. If I'm betting, if I have $1,000 and I'm going 110 inside, this amount of money here is no different than that. It's no different than going 110 inside from $1,000. It's really the ratio is the exact same. In fact, there's a 4. I just have different colored chips, right? I got purples instead of blacks over here. All right, 314. That's a new point. Let's have a good roll here, huh? Let's have this one be the one that gets me past roll 4 or something, right? Tired of this bouncing like a little yo-yo over here, right? Let's get her done. But I do have a kind of a hard stop at about 8. I'm going to have to cut it a little bit short because, again, I got to get to the vet with the dogs. With the one dog anyway. So anyway, here we go. Come on. Come on, inside juice. Inside juice, baby. There's another 4. Have we buckshot at every point? I think I buckshot at every point, right? The 8, the 8, the 6, the 6, the 4, the 4. No payment for us there, right? 2, 2, 4. No payment. It sucks. That sucks, man. That sucks. All right, there's your 4 hard. Let's come on back out. Gee whiz. All right, 6 and 5 and 2 and a 1. Let's do it. 9. All right, 5 and a 4. I can see that my camera is not quite set up. It looks like I'm looking at the box numbers here. Hold on, let me make a quick little adjustment. Looks like it's not getting the 10 in the shot. Is that better? There. All right. I must have, the way that where that camera is, I might have bumped into it the other day. All right, 549. Did I put that in for you? I did. Let's go. The Strategy Destroyer. There you go. Again, this one here is not for the first move is just to get you close, right? And this strategy is gonna not do well unless you get a decent roll, right? It's definitely a hammer kind of a play, right? It's designed to catch a long roll, and if you're not going to get a long roll, you're going to sit here and suffer. That's a 6-5 yo, and we know that going in, right? We know that going in. If you can get a way to regress out of it quickly, you can be in okay shape. But I'm not doing a regression. I'm doing a small regression, but not a real regression into it. A real Dallas drawdown. I'm doing just a one hit, reduce the risk kind of a thing. So, all right, here we go. That's a 437. So there's the full bankroll bust right there. 4-3. Yikes. Yikes. All right. Now we need a hottie to get us out of here. PSO. I'm not shooting well today at all, really. Really not shooting good. All right. So there's 550 on the felt. I'm going to go to my rack and take 550 out and just go same bet. All right. There's 600 out of the rack. We'll get 50 and change. And now we're in bad shape. Okay. Now we're in bad shape. We're going to have to really get some juice here. I may take 2 hits before I regress this time. I may just double up the requirement before I come down. That may just be the way to do it. All right. Again, we're going to be a little bit pressed for time here, which kind of sucks. Hopefully I can get a quick good run. Here we go. Coming out. 6 hard. 3-3. All righty. Let's bring the dice up. Move the puck over, and now we have a 6. All righty, here we go. Pass the dice to Joe. What I probably should do, right? All right. Let's go. Dice out. That's a 4. 3-1. Nice toss, but doesn't help me. But it wasn't a buckshot. That's the first one of those. All right, 6. Here we go. That's another one. Good Lord, 4-3. It's a second straight, basically PSO. Golly, ugly throws today. No right side play is going to do well when you're doing that, right? All right, we take one more crack at it. One more crack at it. I'm going to put another 550 out of my rack on the felt. And here we go. Here we go, folks. All right. Crap, he's ready to go. All right, let's do it. Let's do better than that, huh? Coming out. Six, 5-1. All right, 6, 5, 2, 1. Here we go. Dice out. I should be on the point of 6, right? Yeah. Sorry. There's the 6. Here we go. Come on, dude. Actually, we're going to do this. We're going to set them like that. All right. Dice out. 9, 6, 3. All righty. 6, 3, 9. Again, I'm going to take a couple of hits here at this level before I regress back. I think I was 2 PSOs in a row. So I'm going to take 2 hits at 175, 1 for each PSO before I come down. So we're going to have to basically slow roll our way into the system. I got to get 3 collects here before I think about the regression. And then we'll come through it. All right, let's get it done. Midnight. 6 and a 6. Three, 6, 9. That's good. All right, so again, we'll take 175 as our payment. Actually, I'll do 200. 200 for 25 is how I'll do that. Bank's running low on greens. And we'll do one more of those, and then we'll do the regression. And then from the regression, we'll start playing out. But we're so far behind with those PSOs. We need a monster to get through this thing. And if it works out, that's great. But let's do it. Dice out. That's a 6, a 4, and a 2. That's the point. That's our third one, which is great. 4, 2, 6. Alrighty. Sweet. So again, I'll do pays 175. I'll do 200 for 25. And we're going to regress down. We're going to come down now to 330. Okay, so let me press the button here so you can watch what I do. Coming down to 330 inside, which is going to be 3 units on the 9, 3 units on the 5, and 90 on the 6 and the 8. So this all comes back. I'm going to drop 30 bucks out there from my rack to be the caps on the 6 and the 8. And there's that. All right, that goes back to the bank. That's changed. Now my rack, I'm going to clean it up. There's 100, 200 in green. The bank is happy again. With my blacks, I've got 500 in black. Then I can move that. All right, let's rock it. Puck's off. We're coming out. Same shooter, new point. Hopefully we can get some traction. Get some juice going here, huh? Here we go. 5. Okay, so what I do, and I see what you're saying there, Duracell. Let me explain some of the thought process of 5. I'm looking at the game in 3 roll segments, right? So basically, or 3 hit segments. So when I'm at the 550 level here, right? Normally I do 1 hit and I regress down. And then I go 3 rolls and move, 3 rolls and move, 3 rolls and move. In that case, I took my first 3 rolls and just didn't regress, right? So it's going to be 3 rolls no matter what, whether it's 1 roll and then a regression and then 2, or stay where I am for 3. I elected to stay where I am for 3 because I was down a little bit. Now, with a new point, we're going to go collect, collect, press, collect, collect, press. Same exact thing, 3 rolls at a time. I just elected to not regress on the first series just as a recovery method. That's it. And it just gets you an extra couple $100 is all that it really does. But that was the mindset on that one. So here we go. I need to get you the other screen, and there we are. Yeah, Duracell, you're right in one respect, but I am the shooter, always, right? So if it's other shooters, I see your point, right? When I'm the shooter and it's always me, and I know that I can get stuck into a pattern like that, there's a reason why I don't do that on the pass line, or why I don't work the come out. And again, I just think you can run the numbers on both ways, right? You're as likely to get 5 7s here as 5 PSOs, because when you're exposed, and that's the number you're exposed. That's the number of times you're exposed. I get what you're saying. When I'm the shooter, though, I like to think that if I start doing this a lot, or start doing the horns a lot, right? I get into those weird patterns, and I want to not succumb to my own whatever I get stuck into, right? That's kind of what it's about for me. So here we go. We're on a point of 5, right? And there's a 6, 4, and a 2. And again, out of a 3-roll series, this is roll 1 of 3. The way that I look at this, right? So roll 1 of 3. Again, I'll pay it. I'll leave the money in the deck here, right? It's 105. I'll leave it in the come. Again, we'll watch what happens here if I can get past a couple of rolls, which I haven't been able to do so far. Really need to get some juice. So there was 1 of 3 right there. Looking for 3 hits. 3 hits if I can do it. That's 1, 2, 3. Ace deuce. Can you guys? I meant to ask you before. I know that I have asked this a bunch of times, but I know I have the dice cam kind of in the way. Can you see the dice landing and get the good outcomes there? I'm hoping that you can. Because I don't want to be like thinking that I'm hiding the dice or anything like that from you. But all right, let's go. Let's go. 2 more hits for me. There's a 9. Great. 6-3. 6-3-9. Alrighty. So that's going to be our second of 3. Again, looking for 3 hit series. There's our second hit in this round. One more hit, and we make a decision. That's how tier pressure works. One more hit, we make a decision. It's been so long since I've gotten 3 hits in a row. You've never seen the actual strategy work because I'm throwing so shitty. But here we go. This is going to be the one. This is going to be the one. The vet appointment's at 9, Dr. S, but I want to make sure I want to take Rosie for a walk before the vet. So, and there's a park that I take her to. So I was going to take her to throw some frisbee and then go to the vet. So I have time. All right, here we go. Here we go. That's a 12. 6 and a 6. Did not like that at all. All right, 5, 5. Let's do it. Eight, 5, 3. Okay, we got our third hit. So we'll reset here and take a look. 5, 3, 8 there, and a 5, 3, 8 here. Sweet. All right, so we took 2 hits. Here's our third one. Okay, so this system is press or collect, collect, press, right? The first time I just did 3 collects. On this round, we're gonna do collect, collect, and then press that one. I'm just gonna borrow a nickel. We're going to press by 110. We're going to take and keep the $200 that we brought back. Okay, so we're going to keep the 2. Collect twice, press once. All right, there's your 110 inside press. That's going to make everything look like a black chip on the bottom. So we'll be at 440 inside. And it's important to see and keep track of where the hell you are because it could get a little bit dicey, right? There's 440 in, okay? If I look at my rack, I'm clearly not quite back home yet. We have those 3 consecutive losses, but at some point, this plus that's going to be profit. Cross your fingers, right? Again, now we start a new set of 3. Like I got my 3 same bets. Then I got 3 where took collect, collect, press. Take a breath, reevaluate. Now we're looking for 3 more. And that's how I do this one. Tier pressure is just every 3, you stop and smell the roses, right? So it's collect, collect, and then the third one is a press up. Here we go. Let's get 3 good ones. 3 good ones. Dan says, place the dice results box in our lower left. Okay. Oh yeah, behind the table. I can do that. Like where the dome comes would be. All right. I will do that actually. I can't do it right now, but I will for next episode. I'll do that for sure. Because you're right. I think it's right in the middle where they land sometimes. That is a 10, 6-4. That was a nice freaking throw. 6, 4, 10 on the end. Okie doke. Kiss and split. That's another 10. Same one. Oh no, hit the back wall. 5-1. I threw that way too hard, man. Way too hard. All right, 5-1-6 and a 5-1-6. That's great. That'll pay 140, right? I'm going to drop 10 from my rack. and take 150. So 150 for 10, same bet. First one is the same bet. And that was the point. So here we are, puck's off. Coming on out. That's a 9, 5-4. All right, we got us a new point, 5 and a 4. Big old 9. Kiss, it's an 8. Not my best work, but I'll take the result, 6, 2, 8. So again, we're hit 2 of 3, or, whatever. In this round of 3, that's our second collect. And again, it's 150 for 10. It pays 140, so I'll do 150 for 10. And now if I get my third hit, we can reevaluate the rack and potentially press up or get out. Every 3 is a reset. So that was 2. So again, collect, putting money in the rack. Not exciting, right? We're not going to be at table max anytime soon, but we're going to be regularly collecting here. 2 out of 3 is a collect. Okay, dice are out. That's going to be a 5, a 4 and a 1. Awesome. All right, let's take a look where we are. 4, 1, 5. All righty, so that'll pay 140. Oops. And I'm going to pay it like this. I'm going to pay it in green. So there's 140. Let's take a look at the rack here real quick. I'm going to get these greens as a black. And in blacks, I've got 500. I can make a purple out of that. So I'm light 1,000 in the rack still. I'm light 1,000. But I've got 275 here. I've got now, when I put these bets up here, we'll be back to 550. Okay? Back to 550. We're 550 in with that 110 press. And again, I'm light 1,000. So I'm light 1,000. So 550, 650, 750, right? We're almost to the 1,000. Almost back to even again. But now that I've reset my rack and I know what's out here, 3 more shots, right? Collect, press. If I can get 3, we're going to be fine. If I don't get my 3, I'm going to be down the $1,000, right? So again, we're inching our way up. It's tearing up every single time. That's why I call it tier pressure, right? So if you catch a good run like this, if you catch this run before the PSOs, you're out of here, right? But we, ended up having to fight City Hall a little bit too hard here. So let's go. Let's go. Dice out. That's the 7, 5, 2. So that's where it ends right there. And I'm going to have to stop the show here because of time. But that worked out really well. I know we're going to be upside down, but that worked out well. We were down, obviously, about 1,500, maybe more. We were down 2,000. We were down $2,000 because we had the 3 PSOs and didn't get hit. So here we go. If you look at the rack, you can see it. Oh, wrong screen, right? No, you can see it. All right. So we're at 2,500, 35, 4,275, 4,275. I'm okay with that. Little 8.25 loss is not the end of the world, especially after being down about 2K. Let's go back over to the main screen. We'll recap a little bit and then we'll get on out of here. So, alrighty, here we go. Come on back. Come on back. Hey. All right. I don't have time for questions and answers. I got to get out with the dogs, as we know. But didn't work out well today. It is what it is, right? Losing $800 sucks. But I like that strategy for a longer run. If you can regress into it, the 3 hits, the collect, press, that rhythm works great if you start from where you're even. If you start from being upside down, it takes a long time to get itself back in the groove, right? Anytime you start from upside down, you're kind of fighting City Hall. And those multiple PSOs that we had, I had two straight PSOs, and I think 1 or 2 where I only got 1 hit. So effectively a PSO when you're out there $500. So que sera, didn't work out so well today. I like the play I like the tier pressure play when I'm starting it from ground zero. When I'm starting it from upside down, it just takes a little bit to grow. It's a good way to catch a hottie, but it's not a good way to grind through and get that paycheck play. It's not a good grab a paycheck system like some of the other ones that I play are. This is better suited for the longer roll, and you can see that, right? On a good roll, we did really good. On the shitty rolls, we did really, really bad. So, all right, I'm out of here, guys. I'm gonna go take the dogs out. Wish me luck with the Rosie's got a paw thing too. She has like a little, like a what do you call it? A foreign body in between her pads, so she has to get that taken out today too. So, all right, I'll see y'all tomorrow morning. And reminder here. Final thoughts, really quick. Final thoughts today are. Oh, by the way, we should review this, right? Obviously, this strategy does not reduce risk as soon as possible. It takes some risk as it goes, but it's not going to take it all away. It does lock up profit pretty quick. It does use leverage as a hammer. It does not lose a little when it loses. It loses a lot when it loses, but it does win a lot when it does. It checks about half the boxes. It's not perfect. It's a good play in the long run. Anyway, I got a show tomorrow, and then there's no shows Wednesday or Thursday, and we're back on Friday. So we'll be in Oregon Tuesday night, all day Wednesday, all day Thursday. So I'll see you back here tomorrow morning, and then not again until Friday. So in the meantime, God bless y'all. Have a great rest of your Monday, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. God bless. Bye.